Welcome to Healthy Living. I'm Lori Johnson. Thanks for tuning in. Glad you're here. So today's show is very important because you're going to learn the very latest research on weight loss, overall health, and longevity. My guest is Duke University professor and researcher, Dr. Herman Pontzer. He's the author of the book Burn. New research blows the lid off how we really burn calories, stay healthy, and lose weight. Welcome, Dr. Pontzer. Thanks for being here. Nice to see you. We appreciate your time.
Thanks so much for having me.
So you've been researching human metabolism for decades now, and in this book you answer the question about which is the better way to lose weight, diet or exercise, and you say hands down diet, right?
That's right. So, we can think of our weight as just the culmination of how much food we've eaten and how much energy we've burned off, right? It all comes down to that. If we're eating more calories than we burn off every day, then we gain weight. If we burn more than we eat, then we lose weight. And if we can match those two up, then we can stay at the same weight. And so what my work has been showing over the last 10 years or so, and other people's work too that I review in the book, is that it's really, really hard to budge that energy expenditure part of the balance, right? So if it's all about energy in and energy out, it's really hard to change the energy out part. Then if we want to focus on our weight and manage our weight, then we have to focus on the energy in, and that's our diet. That's the food that we are bringing in every day, mouthful by mouthful as in the food that we eat. So you want to manage your weight, you want to focus on diet.
So let's say you want to eat 6,000 calories. Let's say you're on a cruise or something and you just want to pig out all day and you think, well, I'll exercise a whole bunch and burn 6,000 calories a day. But you're saying that doesn't work.
That's right. That's one of the big surprises to come out of this area of research over the past few years and work that I've been able to be part of and is in the book, which is that no matter how active your lifestyle is, surprisingly, it doesn't change how many calories you burn every day. So people who are really physically active, that's good. You should exercise. We should all be physically active. But it doesn't actually change the number of calories your bodies burn every day. Instead, exercise, daily activity sort of changes the ways that our bodies spend calories, but it's not going to really budge the needle much on how many calories you burn every day. So when we compare people who are super active, either athletes or even people I work with as an anthropologist, hunter-gatherer groups, for example, in Africa, as I discussed in the book, they're burning the same number of calories every day as you and me and other folks who have a more sedentary lifestyle. So it's important to exercise, but it doesn't change the number of calories you burn every day.
How do you know that really almost no matter how much you exercise, you still only burn, what is it, about 3,000 calories a day?
That's right. So, the amount of calories you burn every day has to do with how big you are mostly. Bigger people, you have more cells, your body's doing more things because you're just bigger, and so you're burning more calories a day than if you're smaller. On average, men burn around 3,000 calories a day. Women burn around 2,500 calories a day just by virtue of being a little bit smaller. Men and women who are the same size and are going to be have the same energy expenditure every day, burn the same number of calories. But we have measured now, we have lots of great techniques now for measuring daily energy expenditure, the number of calories that your body burns every day. Outside the laboratory. So we can go into, any community we'd like and get volunteers signed up for these studies, use this isotope tracking technique that's really fun and exciting to use, and measure very carefully how many calories people burn over the course of their daily life. So this is normal life. This isn't in a laboratory or some artificial setting. And what we find is that people who are really physically active are burning the same number of calories as people who are less active. In fact, even more sedentary. And so, one of the big surprising studies that started this off for me and brought me to this conclusion was work I did with collaborators in northern Tanzania. So we went and we lived with a hunting and gathering community called the Hadza. We worked with them for a few months about 10 years ago. We've worked with them since. But that first summer I was there, we were measuring their daily energy expenditure, the number of calories you burn every day, as a hunter-gatherer. So as an anthropologist, that's something I was just inherently interested in for my research. And of course, they're so physically active. Men are walking, 10 miles a day. Women are walking 6 or 8 miles a day. We were sure that they'd be burning so many more calories every day than folks in the U.S. and Europe and industrialized populations. And instead, what we found is knocked our socks off was that odds of men and women who are incredibly physically active burn the same number of calories as we are here in the U.S.
So that is, to me, so fascinating. And a lot of people might hear that and have you repeat it and say, that can't even be. How is that even possible? How is it that your body adjusts to a sedentary lifestyle and such an active lifestyle?
Well, that's exactly right. It adjusts. And so what we have to understand, and this is one of the reasons I wanted to write this book, was to try to explain to people all the ways in which our body burns calories, because it really, every aspect of your life, immune function, reproductive function, just staying alive day to day, all of those cellular functions that our bodies do in the background that we don't notice, they burn a lot of calories. In fact, they burn most of your calories. You burn most of your energy every day doing stuff you don't even notice that's sort of underneath the surface, just housekeeping work to keep you alive. And so your body makes adjustments in those activities and how much it's spending on those activities to make room for physical activity. So if you are more and more physically active, you adjust by doing a little bit of less of the other stuff, and that keeps your energy expenditure in check. I was as surprised as anyone when we got those first results back, and it's been really fun tracking all this down over the last 10 years or so. And we look again and again at different species. We look at different communities of humans. We look at different species, in the lab or in the wild, and we see the same result again and again. Daily energy expenditure just doesn't track physical activity. It's a big surprise and an important one to understand.
So now that we have determined that fact, and it is a scientific fact that our body really only burns about 3,000 or so calories, depending on, your gender and some other things, where you live, how big you are, then that gets back into the calories in, calories out equation, which means really none of us can eat very many more than 3,000 calories a day if we want to maintain a normal weight, right?
That's right. Yeah. If you want to watch your weight, you want to maintain a healthy weight, you have to be watching the diet and tracking how many calories you eat. I should say, you don't necessarily have to be a calorie counter, right? The way that if you're staying at that you're eating a healthy amount of calories for you is, the bathroom scale is your best guide, right? If it's going the wrong direction, or if it's at a place you don't like or isn't healthy for you, then that's when you need to start changing your diet up and seeing if you can get that somewhere else. It's actually really hard to pay attention to your calories that you eat every day. It's hard. You forget, or you sort of misestimate how much you eat. It happens to everyone. And so it's really hard actually to track how many calories you eat. But it is that dietary part of it that's affecting your weight almost entirely. And so trying to pay attention to your diet and pay attention to the bathroom scale, that's the best way to sort of manage your weight.
So what about all these popular diets that people really seem to lose weight on? We have the intermittent fasting, paleo, keto, the vegan. I mean, the list goes on, and people really say, yeah, that I lost weight on that diet. How do you explain that?
Sure. Well, the fact of the matter is that humans can do great on a whole range of diets. There is no one diet that's best for everyone. And all of those diets, people have actually been comparing and studying diets for decades now, randomly assigning people to plant-based diets or vegan diets, high-fat, high-protein diets. And all the diets work if you stick to them. And they all work fundamentally the same way, which is that they all will reduce how many calories you eat. And so, low carb or plant-based or whatever works for you, there is no real magic there. What it is it's different ways of making you feel full on less. And so all diets work if you stick to them, and you should find the diet that works for you and stick to it. I'm not advocating one diet over another, but they all work the same way, which is that they all are different ways of keeping yourself from over-consuming.
So you mentioned before that you don't recommend one particular diet over another. Do you mind if I ask you what your diet is? Can you describe your own personal diet?
Yeah, I eat a range of things. I try to eat healthy whole foods. I stay away from processed foods. I try to eat, whole fruits and vegetables, and I eat meat. I eat pasta, all the things that you're not supposed to eat if you're, a low carb, or I do enjoy. So I eat pastas and breads. But, I eat a mixed diet. And, the principles I stick to personally, and that I think are reasonably good principles for anyone to stick to, is avoid processed foods. Okay. We know that processed foods they're literally engineered for you to overconsume. People are working in laboratories, in food companies, making processed foods that are impossible to resist and easy to overconsume, because that's how they sell you more food. So stay away from processed foods, and try to eat whole foods that are, rich in nutrients. If it's high in fiber, high in protein, those are going to be foods that are going to help you feel full, eating less. And that's the best way to keep yourself at a healthy weight.
Well, this is fascinating information, and it's pertinent to all of us. We all need to know this. So we're going to take a quick break and be right back with Dr. Herman Pontzer. The new book is called Burn. Stay with us.
On October 1st, 1961, history was made when a tiny station began transmitting the first signals of the Christian Broadcasting Network.
CBN, the Christian Broadcasting Network.
And now, a new era has begun with the all-new CBN News Channel.
Just moments ago, the Iron Dome intercepted an incoming rocket right on the Gaza border.
Administering in this area, spiritual warfare is definitely involved.
A 24/7 news network, bringing you the news you want from a source you can trust.
In Kenya, 40% of the medical services are actually provided by these Christian hospitals.
Let's talk about the economy.
Believers here are joining together to win people to Jesus Christ.
All your favorite shows now in one place. Go to cbnnewschannel.com to find out how to get the CBN News Channel on your TV all day, every day. CBN News. Life is better with a good night's sleep. Get your free DVD or booklet of Protect Your Sleep today.
Life. It's meant to be lived fully. Jesus said it. I came to give you life. Life to the fullest. Life in your family. Life in your finances. Life in your body, mind, and spirit. Life in your everyday. At CBN.com, we're taking what Jesus said seriously. We're here to help you discover life. Life. Live it fully. CBN.com.
Welcome back to Healthy Living. We're continuing our discussion with Dr. Herman Pontzer, author of the book Burn. So while diet generally dictates our weight, you talk about the amount of calories that we eat is the main ingredient. You do point out in your book reasons why we need to exercise, because the danger here is people will say, oh, well, what difference does it make? I'll burn 3,000 calories a day anyway. Why do I need to exercise? And you're saying, please don't fall into that trap. Why?
Well, exercise is incredibly important for your health for a whole host of reasons. It keeps you, mentally sharp. It keeps you physically fit, which is really great, especially as you age. But what we're discovering when we look at the energetics of exercise is really exciting. And it turns out that exercise doesn't change the number of calories you burn every day so much as it changes the way you spend those calories. So if your body is spending energy on activity, on exercise, or just, daily physical activity, however you get it, it's not spending those same calories. It's not spending those calories on things like inflammation, right, or stress reactivity. And so a good amount of physical activity every day helps keep some of those other activities that our bodies might engage in suppressed a little bit in a healthier level, and doesn't let inflammation run wild, for example. And so that's what exercise is so important. Not just for strength and for mental sharpness and all those other good things, your mood, but it changes the way our bodies spend our calories.
I noticed that when you were talking about the people group that you studied in Africa, they exercised 4 or 5 hours a day. What is the ideal amount of exercise people should be getting?
That's a hard one to answer. It'll be a little bit different for everybody. But in general, we should be aiming for, let's say, 10,000 steps a day is not a bad goal for most people. Of course, if you have mobility issues, other things to consider, you need to be aware of that and listen to your body. But for most of us, the simple answer is more, right? Very few Americans get enough exercise. That's a very well known. And so, how much exercise? The answer is more. Get out, be active, get outside, and move.
What type of exercise do you recommend? There's the cardio, and then there's just the walking where you don't get your heart rate up very much. Then there's the people who love to do weightlifting and the really hard exercise, the triathlons and things like that. Can you talk about what type of exercise we should be doing?
Do the exercise that you love, that doesn't feel like work. And, find something in your life, whether it's, taking your dog for a walk, on a long walk, or getting involved in, community sports, whatever it is for you. Maybe it's your time in the gym, or maybe it's a run in the woods, that it doesn't feel like work. Because if it feels like work, you're not going to do it. And the important thing is to get active and get moving. Once you're, getting tons of exercise every week, you might ask yourself, do I want to tweak things a bit or fine tune? But let's get there first, and let's get everybody moving.
Well, on the subject of super athletes, I remember years ago with the Olympic swimmer Michael Phelps, there was a rumor going around that he ate 12,000 calories a day, and he obviously wasn't overweight. And the thinking was, well, he exercises so much, so he burns off those 12,000 calories a day. What do you make of that?
Well, first of all, I think he was bluffing. I tried to track that down for the book because I was very curious about this, and I've been asked about it before. How does Michael Phelps eat 12,000 calories a day? And as far as I can tell, that was a bit of a boast, to try to scare off the other athletes at the Olympics. I have no doubt that during peak training times, right? So I bet that his body is burning thousands of calories a day, maybe 4 or 5, maybe 6 or 7,000 calories a day for a couple weeks at a time. And your body can do that. So if you're in the Tour de France, right, you're going to burn 6,000 calories a day for that month. So people who are at the really elite end of things seem to be pushing these metabolic limits. And you can go that high for a while, but you can't do it for very long. And so, if we're looking at sort of a daily routine or something you're going to maintain for the rest of your life, you're not going to be anywhere near up that high. And neither is Michael Phelps, because it's just too much to do day in and day out forever.
All right, Dr. Herman Pontzer, Mythbuster. All right, well, we're going to take another quick break and be right back, so stay tuned.
When I came to Regent University, it's like the world opened up. I felt like I needed to advance my career and go back to school. Regent was a perfect fit for me. The Regent professors are world class. You are equipped. The focus of the faculty is on each individual student, whether it's online or in person. You become a part of Regent's family. You carry with you not just the content and the knowledge, but the confidence to understand that we can be significant in the world.
Regent University. Follow your path.
Nigerian Christians
in Iran are routinely arrested.
Happily, Christians continue to suffer.
In times of trial and affliction, you need to know the truth.
One of the fastest growing Christian populations in the world.
Join Wendy Griffith and George Thomas for Christian World News.
Young people are the ones who are open to the gospel.
Powerful stories of suffering and hope that affect all Christians. Saturday night at 6 on the CBN News Channel. Get Protect Your Sleep and discover how to improve the quality of your life. A free DVD or booklet from the Christian Broadcasting Network.
If you're not a great sleeper, you can do things to make yourself a great sleeper. If you're already a pretty good sleeper, you can enhance your sleep and be even better.
5 leading experts help remove the obstacles between you and restorative sleep.
When you don't get a restful night's sleep, you wake up with an accumulation of stress.
Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to CBN.com to get your free DVD or booklet today.
Everything you do better with a good night's sleep.
You'll discover how food affects your sleep, how to put insomnia to rest, explore effective remedies for sleep apnea, and much more in Protect Your Sleep. Wake up to your best life and get Protect Your Sleep today. Call 1-800-700-7000 or go to CBN.com to get your free DVD or booklet.
We're back talking to Dr. Herman Pontzer, author of the book Burn. And you know, the fact that humans burn about 3,000 calories a day helps in times when food is scarce, but dooms many of us to obesity when food is plentiful, right?
Yeah, our metabolism is this really dynamic thing. It really keeps itself in check so we don't sort of overconsume our resources when times are tough. It can even, our bodies can even ramp down our metabolism and decrease the calories you burn every day if they sense that we're starving, which is one of the reasons it's so hard to lose weight no matter what you do, because your metabolism is sort of this dynamic thing in the background adjusting to your lifestyle. We think that we push our metabolisms around, and magazines covers are full of these metabolism boosters and ways to change your metabolism. In fact, your metabolism is responding to your lifestyle and changing in ways that makes it hard, actually, to change your weight.
So we're sort of like designed to not starve, to not lose weight, really, right?
Yeah, your body doesn't like to lose weight. That's usually a bad sign, right? Especially if you think about if we weren't in these sort of supermarket environments where you could just go to the corner store and get thousands of calories easily. In a more traditional setting where it's hard to get calories, losing weight's a bad sign, right? And so your body wants to not do that. And there's all kinds of sort of under the hood adjustments that your body's making that you're not even aware of that adjust our metabolism to our lifestyle.
Well, you are a metabolism expert, so I wanted to ask you about another myth that when you consume fewer calories, when you sort of starve, like let's say only 1,000 calories a day, your metabolism slows way down and it makes it harder to lose weight. So you don't want to go too low on restricting calories. Is that true or not?
That's right. If somebody wants to try to restrict calories, lower their calorie intake, and get to a lower weight, going too fast is not going to be a long-term solution because your body will adjust. Your body, pulls the fire alarm and says, "Holy cow, things are bad," and it makes big changes that to our metabolism to reduce how many calories you burn every day and try to right the ship. So again, we think that we're in control of our metabolism. In fact, our metabolism is this really dynamic system that's sort of listening to diet and exercise and adjusting. So if you want to try to change your weight, you got to go more slowly than that, and try to find a diet that doesn't make you feel like you're starving, because your body's if your body feels like it's starving, it's going to respond in ways that make it actually harder to lose weight.
So you're saying not too few calories, because that's going to slow down your metabolism. So don't go down to like 1,000 calories. I know people who have done that before, and that is a little scary. And then, of course, you don't want to go over 3,000. So maybe the sweet spot is somewhere around 2,000. But you said don't count calories. So how do people know when they're eating about 2,000 calories?
Well, the best way to know if you're eating the right number of calories for you is just to pay attention to the bathroom scale. That's really where it comes down to. There's so much variability, among people in their metabolic rates. Some people are a little bit faster, some people are a little bit slower, right? It's really hard to keep a count of your daily calorie intake. We know that when we try to survey people and ask what they ate every day, and we match it against what we know they ate and we know that they burned, they'd hardly ever match up, because people are just inherently, it's just a hard thing to do to keep track of your calories. So, watching the calories you eat, paying attention to the food labels, that's a great way to start. But really, at the end of the day, what you want to be paying attention to is the bathroom scale. And, take it easy on yourself. Don't expect huge changes right away, but pay attention. And if you're going in the right direction, or you're staying in where you want to be, that means that you're right where you should be in terms of your diet. And if you're not, then you need to adjust, make some changes, and see what you can do.
That is great advice, and so doable. It's just so broad, and it gives some people so much flexibility. All right, we're going to take one final break and be right back with Dr. Herman Pontzer, author of the new book, Burn.
Too often, we carry baggage from our past. You know what it's like. It affects everything and everyone in our lives. It's always there, weighing us down and keeping us from achieving true happiness. But do you know God never meant for us to be trapped in the past? You can be free of your baggage. Learn how God's forgiveness leads to changed lives and new beginnings. Call the 700 Club.
I'm Ephraim Graham, and this is Studio 5. Cruise with me as I discovered the good things happening in the world of music, sports, television, and movies.
The fact that Ryan Coogler was going to be directing the film, I knew that something special was going to happen.
We'll chat with artists at the forefront of entertainment and explore the connection between popular culture and faith.
I asked my pastor, I said, well, does that mean I'm supposed to be a preacher? He says, well, no, you already have a pulpit.
Wednesday night at 8:30 on the CBN News Channel. Tikkun Olam.
This is our nature as a country.
To make the world a better place.
Literally, we felt the earth shaking.
The Christian Broadcasting Network presents To Life, how Israeli volunteers are changing the world.
This film needs to be seen by everyone.
I was in tears.
Now you can own the inspiring documentary To Life on DVD.
There is blood on our hands if we know and we walk away.
I'm so grateful that this film was made.
To Life can be yours for a gift of $10 or more. Call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to CBN.com.
We know that every minute counts to save life.
It'll bless Israel, but it'll also bless all the friends of Israel.
Discover the untold story of how Israeli volunteers are making the world a better place. Call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to CBN.com to get your copy today.
Continuing our discussion with Dr. Herman Pontzer. Unfortunately, statistics show us that anywhere between a third and 2/3 of the country is either overweight or obese. Why did you write this book?
Well, I wrote this book for two reasons. One is that, metabolism, the way that our bodies burn calories, is just central to basically every aspect of our lives, from how we grow up to how we, reproduce, have kids, grow old, stay healthy. And, the way that diet and exercise affect the way that our bodies work and the way that we manage our calories affects things like the obesity crisis. These things are all fundamentally about metabolism. And I wanted to try to explain to people in a straightforward way how your metabolism works, because I think if we're going to solve the obesity crisis in this country, it has to start with everybody understanding how energy expenditure works. And the second reason I wrote the book is that, I've had the really good fortune of being on the front lines of a lot of this research over the past decade or so. And we've been to Africa and South America and, of course, the lab here in Durham and all over the world in all sorts of different situations, and to learn how these things work. And it's been so much fun. It's been such an adventure, and I wanted to share some of that adventure as well. And so I hope the book is fun and informative for people.
Well, unfortunately, we're out of time, Dr. Pontzer. Where can people get the book and learn more about you?
Well, you can get the book anywhere you normally shop for books. Amazon, Penguin is distributing it, so that it's on the Penguin website as well. Hopefully it's in bookstores near you, too. And if you want to find out more about the work that my lab and I are doing, you can check us out here at Duke online.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Pontzer, for joining us today on Healthy Living. We appreciate your time. Thanks for being here.
Thanks so much.
And once again, the book is called Burn. New research blows the lid off how we really burn calories, stay healthy, and lose weight. That'll do it for this edition of Healthy Living. I'm Lori Johnson. Thanks for tuning in. If you'd like to watch other Healthy Living episodes, just go to CBN News, our website, and click on the show's link. Until next time, take care, everyone.